Welcome to Girl on the Spectrum. My name's Helena Mari, and thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. Girl on the Spectrum is a podcast where we talk about all things ADHD, autism, neurodivergence, and kind of everything in between. So I'd like to do a couple of housekeeping bits first. There are two things that are different about this episode today. The first being I don't have a guest, and I will explain why in a bit. The second thing is I'm actually filming the recording of this podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. If you're listening on Spotify, hello. So yeah, I'm trying out something new because I kind of want to not cut corners, but make the whole process of content creation slightly more efficient. If you are a subscriber on YouTube, I only have 2 videos on YouTube, but rest assured I will be making kind of YouTube only content. And if you're a listener to the podcast, rest assured I will be making podcast only content. But YouTube and Girl on the Spectrum are 2 things that I'd like to start doing a lot more regularly. And in order to do that, and I guess this circles back to why I don't have a guest today, organising a guest for a podcast is actually quite complicated because you need to find times that suit you both, and it's hard to kind of churn out episodes regularly when you're not dependent on someone else, but when it's kind of you're trying to negotiate 2 people's schedules rather than just one. So my idea is that I would like to make kind of mini podcast episodes where it is just me on my own. And then when I have the absolute pleasure of having a guest on, and that'll be kind of a longer format episode where it's a proper interview and discussion. In order to keep my finger in the pie, that's not it. Is that a phrase? In order to keep my, what the fuck is that phrase? Whatever. We'll go with finger in the pie. In order to keep my momentum for the podcast going, I thought rather than having it completely rely on having someone really kindly volunteer to be interviewed, I thought I'd kind of try and do it more regularly. And then when I do get the opportunity to interview someone, then it's an added bonus and it's just really exciting. But I will say we do definitely have some very interesting and exciting guests lined up on the podcast. I just haven't quite got around to organising when we're actually going to do the interview. But you guys know who you are, and I promise I'll be reaching out to you in the next few days to arrange something. Another kind of exciting development, I guess, with the podcast is I did a collaboration episode with a podcast called A Dopamine Kick, which is a much more well-established podcast than this one is, but it's all about ADHD. And we had a wonderful chat, me and the host, Shell and Sparky, a wonderful chat for about 2 hours, and it was just brilliant. But the problem with doing a podcast where everyone on the podcast has ADHD is actually editing the podcast doesn't happen. So we are going to get that edited and out very soon. I actually reached out to Shell and Sparky today with my tail between my legs saying, hi, sorry I haven't been in touch for ages. But I'm super excited to kind of release that episode because I think it'll be so interesting. It was really cool to talk to not only other people who have ADHD, but also people who do podcasts and do content creation and things like that. So that was really cool. I'm filming these mini episodes to put on YouTube. Now, how well this is going to work, I don't know, because I don't know how many people actually want to just watch me stare at a camera and ramble. Which I guess is primarily what YouTube is anyway. Like I don't really, whatever. But I think if I can kind of 2 birds with 1 stone it, and release more regular videos on YouTube and more regular podcast episodes in a oneer, I think that would be good for everyone. Cutting corners, baby. Woohoo. So I thought as a kind of reintroduction for myself back into the kind of longer format video audio world, but also for you guys because it has been a little while since I kind of spoke about myself on either of these platforms, I thought I'd do a little what I've been up to video. That might be fun for everyone, I don't know. Straight off the bat, this will be rambling and nonsensical. I want to make sure going forward that all my videos have a theme. And I'm thinking the theme for the next podcast/video will be rejection sensitive dysphoria, because that's something that I've been wrestling with a lot at the moment and is really something I'm beginning to deepen my understanding about. I think that'll be really interesting kind of conversation to have with myself. So I have made some content on TikTok and Instagram. It's actually the same video. Cutting corners, baby. It's the same video, just re-edited slightly for Instagram. But I made it on TikTok and it seems to be resonating with quite a few of you. So yeah, I want to kind of elaborate on that topic because I think it's a really interesting one that's maybe not talked about enough, especially by me. Like I never even really knew what it was until a couple of weeks ago. So to jump into it, what on earth have I been up to for the last fair few months while I have not been doing podcast and YouTube stuff? Well, to start with, I have moved. So I moved flat. I was living in Glasgow in Scotland. I have moved a whole hour and a half away to the east coast of Scotland. Now, I'm not going to say exactly where I am because it is quite a small place. And not that I think I'm going to get stalkers, like I'm not that up myself. But obviously, I don't want to kind of reveal where I live. But rest assured, it is delightful. I'm absolutely loving life. Like everyone's so friendly. I get to do so many cool things that I just haven't been able to do in Glasgow. I'm near the beach, which is just absolutely wonderful. I've got into sea swimming. So I've been sea swimming a fair few times since moving, which was only like 2 weeks ago. So I'm loving life. It's great. The flat I'm in now is on the ground floor and I have a garden that's just mine. Yay. I've never had a garden before. It's very exciting. Although I have to look after it and I don't know how to look after a garden. So if there's any tips on gardening, hit me up, please. But that does mean having a garden, living on the ground floor, does mean that my 4 cats are going to be outdoor cats, which is very, very exciting. Up to press, they have been indoor cats. I think they liked it in the old flat because it had really high ceilings, but I think they're going to love being outdoor cats because they're so adventurous, like they're so mischievous and all this kind of thing. So I think they'll have a really good time outside. I've got their jags arranged. They're getting their outdoor jags. Well, they've had their outdoor jags, but they need their boosters for those jags. So they should be out and about hitting the town in early August, which I'm so excited about. So I'll obviously keep you updated on how that's going. I might even do like a releasing video where I like release them into the wild. We'll see. My work has been taking up a lot of my time, which I'm not mad about because I love my job. And for those of you who don't know, I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned it on anything, but I'm a civil servant and I can't exactly say what I do in the civil service because I'm not sure I'm allowed to, but I don't want to risk it. But I am a civil servant and I absolutely love my job. I work for a really worthwhile department and it just, I love my job. And I've recently got a promotion, which I'm very, very excited about. Was on temporary promotion, so I was acting as a team leader on a kind of temporary basis. And then I had to like apply. The civil service recruitment is wild. So you can't just like ask for a promotion. You have to wait for like an opportunity to come up and then apply for it. It was, I think, 16 jobs and there was 200 applicants. I got one of them, which is very exciting. I actually don't know what my role's going to be. I'm hoping it's still a team leader role. So I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to dip my toe back into content creation on like TikTok and stuff. My Instagram's really not been at the forefront of my mind, so I haven't posted on there in a while. Or like I've posted, but I've not been like committed to it. Not that I ever really was, because I don't know how Instagram works. My growth on TikTok has slowed down massively, which is absolutely fine because I've not been posting on it as much as I used to. But I really want to get that momentum back up because I absolutely love TikTok. It's like my primary platform, so I kind of want to keep that going. And I got my first paid TikTok recently, which is really exciting. And I guess the kind of biggest thing that's happened to me recently was quite horrible and quite traumatic, but I haven't really told the full thing yet, and that is because there's an ongoing investigation. So obviously I don't want to talk about it in detail at all, but I just want to say that like I don't want to use it as an excuse for why I've not been posting as much, but I also kind of do because it's a big reason why I haven't been posting. So I guess we had like traumatic event, weird high where I was like pumped up on adrenaline from what happened, then a huge low for like 3 months where I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even type my own name, let alone make a video. I didn't have to take any time off work, which I was actually really surprised and proud of myself for, even though it would have been totally fine to take time off work, but I didn't because I just thought like I need some consistency here. But I really like stripped everything down to just working and effectively sleeping. Like I was working, sleeping, working, sleeping. Then I kind of picked up again after a lot of therapy and a lot of like trauma processing. And I am feeling really like much more on an even keel now, which is so exciting. So I'm like pumped to do things. Oh, I've thought of something else. I applied to be a lunch and learn presenter for the National Autistic Society, which is a charity based in the UK. They're also based in Scotland. They've got like a Scottish branch and then a kind of UK-wide branch. And I'm involved with both, which is super exciting. So watch out on the National Autistic Society Scotland's Instagram because I'm going to be making some content on their theme of travel, which should be coming out in the next kind of week or so, if I can get my act together and film it. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's really cool. Like, I just applied through their website, and then I don't know, like they just like really took me up on it. So I'm doing loads of stuff for them, which is so exciting. Like public speaking for them. I am doing some social media content for them and stuff, so it's really, really exciting. I'm like pumped about the opportunity. It's brilliant. I've also become a disability champion at my work. So I'm actually going to be doing a presentation on autism, sexuality, and gender, which was originally meant to be for Autistic Pride Day, which is the 18th of June, I think. But obviously it's past the 18th of June and it's not happened. But that's my fault because I was on annual leave at the time. So I'm still working on that. And what I'm hoping to do is, after I've delivered it and got any feedback, I'm going to film it. I'm going to film it myself, doing it at home and put it on YouTube. And hopefully it'll be quite an interesting presentation. I hope. I really hope, because a lot is riding on this. But that's something that I'm really excited about. I don't know, things are just going really well. Like Poppy, my dog, is wonderful. I had to shut her out of the room because she was snoring horrifically loud. So I had to shut her out of the room while I'm recording. So I guess this was incredibly rambly, but I guess to kind of end, I kind of want to offer like a huge thanks to everyone who has stuck with me during my like hiatus periods, because I know like the neurodivergent community it tends to be really understanding anyway, especially like other people with ADHD, other people with autism. We understand and can empathize with each other's autistic burnout, ADHD chaos, I guess. So I just want to say thank you for kind of sticking with me. I know I've said this before, but I'm genuinely actually really excited about what's to come. I'm really excited to get my YouTube going, get the podcast going more, do things more regularly, post videos on TikTok every day, post on Instagram 3 times a week. I guess this is kind of my blackmail video to myself, where I'm like, you've got to do this because you've just posted it online. And I wanted to say kind of finally, if there's something you'd like me to cover that I either haven't covered before, you want me to go into more depth, either on like YouTube or on TikTok, or if you want me to do like TikTok lives and anything, if there's any advice you want on anything that I can go away and research and come up with like a plan for you, please let me know, because I guess I kind of make content for like something to do, but I genuinely really enjoy it, and it gives me an outlet for talking about neurodivergency, which is one of my special interests. But there's no point in me making content that doesn't resonate with people. I mean, no, I guess it would be a point because it would still be like an outlet, but I don't want to be making content solely for me in like in a selfish fashion. I want to make content that helps other people too. I know that sounds like such a cliche. I do want to make content that's like tailored towards what my audience, for podcast listeners, I said that in heavy inverted commas, wants and needs and would like to hear about. If there's anything I do on TikTok that you especially like, if there's anything I do on the podcast you especially like, please leave a comment, email me. My email should be in the description of both the YouTube video and the podcast. And if you want to get interviewed on the podcast, I'm always looking for volunteers. You can be anonymous, you can have your socials promoted, you can have, I don't know, if you're writing a book, you can get that promoted. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually going to see it, because it's like a 4-episode podcast, but still, you never know. If there's anything I can do for you guys to kind of repay how supportive you guys have been on my social media kind of journey, please let me know, because I'd be so keen to do that. But that reaches the end of my incoherent ramble. Thank you so much, and I really hope you have a lovely day. Bye!